Good morning. Welcome to a new edition of our show titled Speak of Africa. We thank you very much for watching this show, and we really give special thanks to most of our viewers on Facebook. This whole week we've noticed that so many people are requesting us for friends because they like our message, and we want to say thank you. The more people listen to us, the more people would know about the need to do something about African problems. We decided that today we're going to focus on Africa's problem the way we normally do. We don't just gloss over issues. We try to look at issues that really affect the African nation. Africa is a continent, but we think we want to impress on the African people that they are one people. They have one destiny. We want them to treat each other as brothers and sisters, okay? When we do this, we're also respecting what the Bible says. As the Bible says, we don't want to be like Cain and Abel, okay? You have to be your brother's keeper. We want to tell Africans that brotherhood is what would help Africans to rise to the next level. Today, we're going to focus on South Africa because we're not happy with what we've been watching in that part of the continent. For many months now, and I would even say years, the whole issue of xenophobia has been at the forefront, and we want to draw attention to this problem. There has been the issue of migrants. People are leaving their homes in search of greener pastures. As you all know, in many parts of the motherland, most of our leaders are not really engaging in any form of good governance. As a result, their people are running away in search of opportunities in other countries. Since South Africa became independent, especially with the rise of President Nelson Mandela, many Africans have been flocking to South Africa to look for work, and they have settled in that country. Although few of them may be criminals, but the truth is, most of them are law-abiding citizens. These people are not creating crimes. Contrary to the Donald Trump playbook, which David Makura is using now in South Africa, most of the African migrants in South Africa are not criminals. So racism or immigration, that's the question. That's like a dilemma. Are we talking about immigration or are we talking about racism? Politicians like David Makura are just using politics to gain power by playing games with people's fears. It looks like he is using President Donald Trump's playbook. We remember in 2015, when President Donald Trump decided to run for US president seriously, we remember the famous elevator ride. He descended the elevator from his Trump Tower and he made his speech where he lambasted Mexicans. He described them as criminals. He describes them as rapists, that they don't bring their best in the United States, they only bring criminals who come here and commit crimes. But US statistics have really shown that most of the people who commit crimes in the US are not really foreign-born Americans or foreign-born individuals. In fact, most of the criminals are homegrown, are people who were born in this country. Some of them are mentally sick. So those are really the people who are really committing crime and not foreigners. But Mr. Trump realized that if he uses racism, he will be able to weed fears in the minds of a certain population of the United States that he thinks he can win as followers. And you're looking at white males, blue-collar workers, people with no college degrees. These are people who can easily be deceived. Most Americans who are well-educated will not follow the vitriolic rhetoric of Mr. Donald Trump. But Mr. Trump was able to win the election because a lot of these white males who are young, with no college degrees, were looking at globalism as a threat. Globalization is making them find no place in the new world. Globalization is a fact of modern life, is bringing the whole world as a globe. So when you understand this as a worker, you need to know that you need to acquire the kind of skills which can make you successful in the new environment. Unfortunately, most of these white blue-collar workers were working in minefields or in factories. But the economy of the United States has changed Everything has shifted from a manufacturing base to an information base, where services and products now become information. Most of these people do not really have the right education to perform such work. As a result, the United States has to invite foreign workers from India and other parts of the world to come and fill the vocations that are available, the slots that are available in the country. When they do that, it's because as an economy, they need foreigners. From the beginning of the birth of this nation, we have always had a need for foreigners. When you look at statistics, most of the people who start new businesses in the United States are foreigners. They are not American born. Okay? So when you are xenophobic, you are really hating people who can really help the country. But when politicians are playing games, they become demagogues. Just like Mr. Trump, in order to win this election, he decided to become a demagogue. He decided to engage in controversial remarks, abusing even a judge, a sitting judge, Judge Curiel. Oh, he's a Mexican. So what happens if he's a Mexican? Racism may make Mr. Trump popular as a politician, but it doesn't really build a country. Because you build a country with positive ideas. You do not build a country with fear. When you make people hate other people, it's not good. So far, we've seen that in the United States, Mr. Trump has made it in such a way that people hate Mexicans, they hate Muslims. Now, the people are fighting back, okay? There's a backlash to all this racism. And we hope in the case of South Africa, there should be a backlash against politicians such as Mr. David Makhura.
$250 to $6,000. Quick tax refund advance made easy. It's tax season 2019. The Christmas and New Year holidays are over. Everybody's talking about the PJ Tax Service, the new kid in town on H&R Block's block. Why? Money, money, money. Spread the good news. Quick tax refund advance is here. It's big, bigger than ever. Put big money in your pocket fast. PJ Tax Service. Nobody gets your tax money back faster, instantly, quickly, and immediately. 3 tax refund disbursement choices for you in less than 24 hours. Visa e-card, paper check, and direct deposit. Get your money back without delays. PJ Tax Service has your back. It is your money, so get it now. PJ Tax Service. You like the way we do your taxes. PJ Tax Service. You feel like a lottery or a sweepstake winner. Act now. Call 301-593-4879 or 301-593-4897 or come to our office, 11207A, Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland, 20901. Or you can visit us online, www.pjtaxservice.com.
Right now, South Africa is going through a new election on May 8th, and we have been watching this election. So it looks like what is really fueling this xenophobic violence in South Africa is the election. From the beginning, the ANC has been a popular party in South Africa. Even today, it's still a very popular party. But the problem is, after the Pottinger scandal, and the resignation of Jacob Zuma, the ANC has really lost its luster. People don't really trust this party anymore. People have the impression that black people cannot really rule themselves. Black people are corrupt. So that's the image the average South African has of the ANC. But because of population, it looks like the ANC will still be able to manage to gather a lot of votes in the election that is coming for national and parliament. Okay, parliament and provincial elections. It looks like the ANC will still win a lot of seats. We know that because they have some form of dominance in the country. But you have other parties that are emerging. In fact, one of the parties to watch is the EFF, Economic Freedom Fighters Party, led by Mr. Julius Malema. As you can see on social media, Mr. Julius Malema is a very charismatic figure, and it seems as if he's really doing a whole lot to get votes. People see him everywhere. He even makes fun of the establishment. Sometimes the ANC is uncomfortable with him. And then you also have the Democratic Alliance. These three parties are really the ones really dominating the environment in South Africa right now. The other parties are not really known. You have a lot of small parties, but we don't think they will really make serious strides. But we are telling you to keep an eye on Mr. Julius Malema, okay, of the EFF party, because it looks like his message is really resonating. Because what is really South Africa's problem? What is really South Africa's problem is that the politicians want to blame the economic problems of the country on foreigners, which is not true, okay? The problem in South Africa is the political power changed hands, but economic power did not. When black people got the power to vote, they easily won the election, but that did not mean that they will win economic power. Economic power remains in the hands of white people in South Africa. That's the reality. They own the means of production, and the white people are merely slaves working jobs as laborers, okay? The white people still pull all the strings. So that's the malaise of the African populace in South Africa. This white population is small, but they control all the wealth, the way it used to be back in the days of apartheid. Much has not changed. So it's just like you have a black president, but everything else is white. And that's the South African problem. So if South Africans had the illusion that by having a black president, they will start becoming prosperous economically, that is a pipe dream. And that's what is really fueling a lot of the xenophobic violence we see today. The South African people are really disenchanted by the fact that even though they have a black president, the economic situation has not improved. They are still living the way they have been living, okay? So much has not really improved. So the challenge of politicians such as David Makhura is that instead of blaming other people for South Africa's problems, work as a politician to build your country. Work as a politician to make the economy prosperous for your black brothers and sisters. Turn their anger away from other Africans. Africans work a whole lot to help South Africa to become free. We remember the days of apartheid. African countries were contributing soldiers to fight the South African apartheid government. And I remember the role of Nigeria particularly. Nigeria spent a lot, and I even remember President Murtala Mohammed, when he made speeches and followed on with his money to make sure that South Africa fought for its independence. Now that this has happened, we were expecting South Africans to be more accommodating to other Africans. So the xenophobia that we see coming out every day is fanned by politicians such as David Makhura. And we are really singling out David Makhura because we've gone on social media, we've watched a lot of his speeches. His speeches are very, very divisive. They're divisive, they are not really conciliatory, they don't really tell people to work together. We've seen President Cyril Ramaphosa make overtures, conciliatory moves towards the foreigners. But we think this is just not enough, okay? Let's get serious here. These are people who are living in your country. They are not criminals, so you need to treat them with dignity. If people come to your country and they are running a business, this is good for your economy. They are creating jobs. So by sending hoodlums to go and be breaking into their stores, breaking their property, then you don't really understand capitalism. You cannot build a capitalist nation by breaking the properties of people. No, that's primitive, okay? That needs to change. And with the elections coming up, we need politicians to start changing their message.
So I can get my taxes done. You know I'm trying to buy a new house. What's up?
Let's get it on. If you're searching for a house, call up my man Prince Ojong, the best in real estate. Take it from your guy's shape. When I say his services are the best in the states, word is born. He even take care of your tax forms, fat refunds. So come, get your business done. Consultations, financial organization, fast processing. No waiting, this man is amazing. The Prince.
Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131.
Politicians such as David Makura, who are preaching division, needs to be pushed to the side. Then people like Julius Malema, who are really positive, who are really campaigning for economic freedom for black people, they need to be pushed to the front. They are the ones who should really have a voice. Foreigners are not their problem. They need to be made to understand that foreigners are not their problem. Their problems are the ANC politicians who are stealing the money of the country. Look at the Pottinger scandal. It resulted in the resignation of Jacob Zuma. And now we have David Makura making racist remarks, which he's getting from Donald Trump. That doesn't really bode well in a country of laws. So what they are doing is against the law. So we're telling South Africans to change the way they perceive the world. To build a country, you need the efforts of all the people, okay? Don't turn away foreigners. By turning away foreigners, you are not doing yourself a favor, because the foreigners are helping the economy of your country. If foreigners are committing crimes, then you have a political system that is designed to handle such crimes. You have the courts. They can be tried and they can be punished. But hurting them because they have come to your country and they're running a business is wrong. And remember, these same Africans come from countries that have really been friendly to South Africans in the past. They have been doing a whole lot of stuff. You cannot even imagine the number of South Africans who used to go to different African countries to study because there was chaos in their country. I can remember, even in my school, we had many South Africans. We even had Namibians who were brought to the school to spend time with us, and they attended school together with us. We did not discriminate against them. We accepted them as brothers and sisters. Similarly, we are urging South Africans not to follow the rhetoric of politicians such as David Makura. That is just vitriolic rhetoric, which has no place in a decent society. Every society in history has always developed. When foreigners come in, they bring new blood, they infuse this new blood in the country so that things can move on. Right now, South Africans really need economic opportunities. That's what they really need, not divisive rhetoric like what David Makura is presenting. They need economic opportunities, they need to have better paying jobs, and they need to learn how they can create their own businesses. So instead of being jealous of foreigners who come open stores, it reminds me of the chaos that was going on in some black neighborhoods in the United States, where the people were really angry against Korean merchants. No, we need to start opening the shops. Sometimes when we open those shops in our own community, we don't do a good job. When we don't do a good job, our stores fail. So when you open a store in your community, then your own people are not supporting you, and you are charging very high, there's no way you're going to stay in business because you cannot withstand the competition. Now you have foreigners who are providing a service to you, South Africans. So the elections are coming up, and we're encouraging you not to vote for a politician like David Makura, okay? So we have to tell you that the best people who can really help the country are people who want to build. And a few days ago, we saw pictures of a meeting between some South African officials and African ambassadors. During this meeting, we're not really impressed with the message of the South African politicians. We were thinking that they had organized this meeting as a way to try to resolve tensions between foreigners and South Africans. Interestingly, we were saddened when we observed that the South African politicians instead were blaming the African migrants. Why are you blaming them? They are not criminals. Statistics from South Africa government has even shown that most of the crimes committed in the country are not committed by migrants, who are probably just like 5% of the population. It's true, the population of migrants has risen. It's because most of these migrants are looking for opportunities in South Africa. So when we look at this, we don't just want to heap all the blame on South Africa. We want to partition some of this blame so that we can give some of the blame to those host countries, the countries where most of these people came from. Take, for example, like Nigeria. If so many of your citizens are going to South Africa to start businesses, why can they not start these businesses in Nigeria itself? So that tells me that, Mr. Buhari, you fail. Then we'll go to La République du Cameroon. If so many South Africans are going to, so many Cameroonians are going to South Africa to start new businesses, why can they not start these new businesses in Cameroon? Because the environment for doing business in Cameroon is very, very hostile. When you hear the way they will ask you for bribes, so it makes it difficult for you to even start a business. Before you start a business, you have to pay bribes left and right, then you have to keep paying money to tax collectors. No business can function in such a hostile environment. By contrast, if you come to the United States and you want to open a business, it may take you less than 5 minutes to submit your paperwork and get your license. They will not ask you for a penny, but the registration fee. Once you pay the registration fee, that's it. Nobody will come and harass you to pay taxes. If your business makes money, then you may pay income tax or property tax. But there's no such harassment, though we see in some of these African countries. So that's why business doesn't thrive in some of these African countries, because the countries do not really know how to be friendly to entrepreneurs. You have to attract entrepreneurs. That's what you need in any economy.
Life insurance money secrets of millionaires and billionaires exposed. Discover how America's rich and famous exploit these arcane tools to build fabulous wealth. Why should these big white guys have all the fun? Let Prince Ojong, the celebrity author of The Miraculous Millionaire, show you the little understood life insurance way to riches. Are you still doubting the good things that life insurance can do for you? Trust strategies, estate planning, 401k rollover, annuity contract, cash value, education funding, executive benefits, income protection, life protection, living benefits, mortgage protection, tax-free retirement? Think and grow rich with life insurance. Your amazing journey to wealth begins by calling Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131.
We're telling the South African politicians, you have to learn to attract foreign entrepreneurs. Some of these shop owners may be small, but the small business is the engine, that's the backbone of any economy. If they can provide basic services to your people, they are doing a very good job. So why are you not supporting them? Why are you not encouraging them? So we'd like to see the government of South Africa make a U-turn to show support for foreign migrants. It is not their fault that they are in your country. You have to understand, these people are victims of circumstance. They find themselves, they are just trapped. They are looking for a way to make a living. Then they've come to your country. If they are making a living decently without committing crimes, why are you harassing them? So you have to stop, and you have to make a genuine effort to show that you've made a U-turn and now you want to embrace foreign migrants. If you can do this, it will change the image of South Africa as a hotbed of xenophobia. Right now, most Africans in other countries are looking at South Africa as a place where the South Africans are hostile towards other blacks. If you are hostile towards other blacks, look at the way black people fought for your freedom. Africans in other countries fought for your freedom. Now you have this freedom, and you don't even want to see your own brother. This is not a good sign. This is not good for you, okay? So we're encouraging you, whether you are a South African citizen or a politician, to embrace foreigners. You don't really know who you are embracing. Make life easy for foreigners. Do not look at them as scapegoats. Politicians just want you to look at these people as scapegoats. They are not really your problem. It's the same thing that happened in Nazi Germany. A drunk such as Adolf Hitler started using Jews as a problem. And look at what happened. That's what created the Holocaust. So we know the danger. What happens when politicians engage in such vitriolic propaganda? This demagoguery must end. And we're encouraging Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, to use his power to make it possible so that this fight between foreign migrants and South Africans should end. They should look into the problem. That's what I was hoping the meeting of African ambassadors with South African officials will create. I was hoping that they will meet, look at the problem in a very scientific manner. In science, when you look at a problem, how do you study it? My professor used to tell me there are 3 approaches. First, observation. Second, classification. Third, analysis. So when you have a problem, you need to observe this problem. You need to collect information, okay? After you've collected information, then you need to start organizing this information, which is what we call classification. Then finally, you need to interpret, you need to analyze this information. And that's the way we think the South African government should proceed in dealing with the problem with migrants in the country. So the election is a good opportunity not only to win votes, but to make sure that South Africa can be at peace with its African brothers and sisters. If this happens, we'll be very, very happy with what is going on in that country. So as the days are going, we don't really have much time. The election is on May 8th, so we have less than 30 days to go. So we're encouraging people to vote for a candidate such as Julius Malema of EFF, Economic Freedom Fighters Party. So those are the type of politicians who can bring what you want. He's very witty, very smart, and he makes fun of the conservative in the parliament. So we really love when we listen to this guy. Most of his videos are on YouTube, and we're encouraging other Africans to watch this guy and watch his message. The way we see it, he's a superstar who would emerge soon. And we think he may even become president because he really has what it takes. So we salute you very much for watching our show today. And we think xenophobia has no place. We don't want African politicians to imitate Donald Trump because winning elections based on fear and racism is not good. Blaming a category of people like Muslims, Mexicans, is not a good way to behave as a human being. We lack a sense of decency. Capitalism. We want Africans to have an environment where capitalism can strive. And that's what South Africa should stand for. So for those who have been watching this show, we're going to say thank you very much and share this show with your friends. If you do, our numbers will be growing. And as we have promised before, we're going to take our message far and wide, and we're going to be able to empower you with information which is going to help you live a better life. In fact, I read a book once titled The Mastery of Life. One of the things that we're going to do on this show in the next few weeks is to start sharing information with you that can help you to become a master of life. Instead of perceiving yourself to be a victim of circumstance, we want you to become a master of your destiny. And you can do that politically, economically, and socially. Watch and tell your friends to watch. Watch and subscribe. Watch and subscribe. That's what we're telling you now. Please do it. We're really happy because most of you, when we say this, you go and do what we're asking you to do. So we thank you for it, and we pray that God should bless you. Bye-bye.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.